What's up, everybody? You're listening to the Hustle and Flow Chart podcast with your boys, Matt Wolf and Joe Fear. Check it. Welcome back.
Hey.
All right. So this episode that you're about to listen to is an interesting one because when we started to record it, we were just kind of having a discussion. We were thinking maybe we'd put this discussion in our paid members area, but we really just wanted to have a discussion because I was taking notes on what our insights were for the month. If you're an EGP letter member, you would notice that there's an Evergreen Profits Insights section at the end of each newsletter. Well, Joe and I kind of get together each month and go, all right, what were our biggest insights? And we decided let's start recording those conversations where we discuss our insights. That's what this started as.
It did. So we did not have this. This was not intended to be a podcast live episode. Actually, on the fly, we even said, hey, why don't we start doing bonus episodes at the end of the month on the weekend for just subscribers of the show. So like if you're in your feed, if you're not a subscriber yet, you should probably subscribe, please, because you'll get these because we'll continue them if people like them. And so we it was supposed to be a 15-minute episode, but Matt, flapped his lips for the first 2 minutes. And so I gave him an extra 2 minutes. I said it's going to be 17 minutes. It got to about, I think, 21 minutes and we're like, this is going too long. And then we just kept flowing. And then I think it was like maybe 40 minutes in. We're like,
this is a podcast.
This should be a podcast.
So if it starts off a little abruptly and sounding a little bit different than normal, that's why.
Yeah.
Also, I can't guarantee there will be notes for this episode.
Probably won't be.
Probably not. One of the things we're going to start doing is, we kind of miss doing these therapy session type episodes where it's Joe and I just kind of discussing what's working now in our business and personal lives and just kind of just an interesting discussion between the two of us on what's going on in our lives and business. We missed doing those kinds of episodes. And so what we've kind of come to the decision of doing is what we've come to the decision of doing. Sometimes I add extra words to make it sound, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. So we're going to add these on like not Tuesday and Thursdays, right? They're going to be in between episodes.
Say they're in the weekends.
Yeah, they're going to be Saturday or Sunday.
Let's say Saturday or Sunday. If it's a wrap up, obviously end of the month. Even like I'm looking at the July calendar, like they would just show up the weekend before.
Yeah.
The end of that month,
Exactly.
Let's just do that. I think that's cool. It's like, hey, what did we learn this month? And like, we probably record them and turn them around pretty quick too. So
yeah.
Insider's room.
So we're not going to have a show notes page for this episode. We're not going to have a downloadable companion for this episode. This is just an interesting discussion about what's going on in our business and our lives right now that by the time we finish recording it, we're like,
yep,
let's put it out to the podcast because I think they'd enjoy this conversation.
And before we go into the episode, that's just us talking more like this. Make sure to become an EGP letter and membership member.
Yep.
Yeah. It's $15 a month for print monthly, or you can get the annual digital only $59 a month. So to EGP letter
a year.
EGPletter.com. Matt will make sure that website has both those two options on there. And but go get it because you get all these insights and obviously all the notes from the other episodes that rock. So,
sweet. Now let's go talk some more. Alrighty.
What's up?
So let's chat real quick about as of this recording, it's basically the end of June, and so this is something we're going to start doing is maybe we'll see how it goes over.
Yeah.
We're going to start doing a little bit of a recording at the end of each month and just kind of talk about some of our biggest insights and takeaways from all the stuff we've done over the month. So
probably should have prepared a little bit better.
Probably, but whatever.
This is truth.
We actually just decided that we may share this. Right as we started recording.
Looking at my calendar as you're chatting.
But yeah, we can look back at all of the various events we've been a part of, the podcast interviews that we've done, the various projects we're in the middle of.
We've done a lot this month. Actually,
we've been doing a lot, and we figured we'd do kind of a monthly end of the month recap, quick 15-minute conversation between me and Joe about these are our biggest takeaways. If this one, because I'm sort of introducing the concept, this one could go a couple minutes longer than some of the others.
I give you an extra. We've gone a minute already, so
there you go. But if you read the Evergreen Profits letter every month, there's always a section at the back called the Evergreen Profits Insights, and it's kind of where I share some of my big takeaways from the month. Joe shares some of his big takeaways from the month, and we figured what's a sort of quick, systematic way to make that easy on us to come up to talk about those insights and our big takeaways. And we figured, well, why don't we just start recording the conversation of these takeaways? I can use the takeaways from this conversation in the notes of the EGP letter. And then if we actually feel that this content is valuable to people, we'll share it to members in the members area, and they can actually listen to our discussions on our takeaways.
Yeah.
Now, just to kind of put it out there, they're going to probably be pretty raw, pretty uncensored. We're probably we fuck around a lot. We goof off.
No.
We talk shit to each other, and
we do.
So these are going to be just kind of like raw, unedited.
You're
just
talking too much
bullshit. Hey, you gave me 2 minutes. I'm at 2 minutes right about now.
Cool, you're done. All right, so this month was awesome. It really was, actually. This was probably one of the, I think, more the mind expanding. I don't know. I just felt like we
sounds like you're going to talk about doing a lot of drugs.
Yeah. Well, that's no, but I feel like we've kind of caught our stride a little bit. Like we really are in more the flow of like how we operate, though, is like you and I personally, on many ways that we could probably talk about, maybe some insights, or maybe we start with the personal. But I feel like in business, Matt's the scribe here. So
yeah, I'm taking notes because these are literally going into the
the letter.
The letter.
Yeah. So, but then on business side, like, big expansions there mentally and in business, just in the short and the long term, like in those meld so well together. But so maybe on the, like, I'm just looking at my calendar, and as you were flapping your lips for 2 minutes, I was like, we've done so much.
Let's start here then. Let's talk about some personal insights, and I'll see if there's some good stuff I could pull out of this for our notes. We had Aaron File on the podcast.
Well, you read my mind.
So Aaron File was on the podcast, and I don't know if she did it on recording or off recording, but she essentially offered to work with us outside of the recording. And you've had some sessions with her. I haven't yet. Joe's giving me shit for not booking them yet, but I will.
He only said to give him shit or to bug him because you gave me permission.
That's true. But let's talk about what have been some of the biggest insights you've had from the podcast, but also from like your follow-up discussions.
Yeah. Erin is absolutely amazing. She's mindtofix.com. Like, seriously, go check her out after listening to the episode, which I think recording this right now, it goes live tomorrow. Erin's episode. So I'm stoked to get it out for her, but also for everyone else, because it really helps. And so I've gone through 3 sessions with her, but really, and she would say like the first session is all I really needed for my beliefs.
Yeah.
Like that, not everything obviously, but she didn't just fix me overnight. But I would say the shortest thing, so you and I, Matt, have been talking about inverse thinking a lot.
Yeah.
And that whole concept of inversion
theory.
Inversion theory. And it's basically spinning an issue into another way of looking at that situation. You're like, oh, I want more of this thing. Well, it's like, no, actually, let's talk about, what if you wanted less of this thing? Like, what would you do?
So like an example would be like, we really want to grow the listenership of our podcast. And the sort of normal linear thinking would be like, okay, well, what are all the things you can do to grow a podcast? And you just list them off, right?
Yeah.
Well, inversion thinking would be, okay, so you want to grow a podcast. What are all the things that you can do to make people not want to listen and not want to share your podcast?
Yeah.
And
how do you drive people away?
And then you would kind of like start listing out like, here's all the ways I would drive people away from a podcast, right? Like I would bring on guests that aren't relevant to our listener.
They just
I would
fart in the mic all the episode.
Well, you want to talk about stuff that would actually like happen,
okay.
But
no, yeah, you would have bad audio quality. You would do no marketing or write no show notes for your podcast.
Yeah.
You would just ask really horrible questions and hit a button every single time, but they're bad. And,
but I mean, basically the grand idea of it is that if you're looking at like what you don't want, the opposite of what you do want, you're going to find like all the things to avoid, which is just as valuable as finding all the things you can do. So like if we're looking at just specifically what are ways I can grow the podcast, I might be looking at things like, okay, buy Facebook ads, get influencers to shout it out, email our list about it, do some more SEO, search engine optimization on it. Like I might list all of these growth tactics, but I'll ignore all of the stuff that I could be doing to just create a better experience.
Yep.
Right. So it basically allows you to come at a problem from a completely different angle.
Well, and see, that's it. It exposes things in a new light. And so the reason why I brought that up with, you said Aaron, is from the episode, you'll hear that it's a big, like we're our beliefs in these patterns. Actually, it's the patterns that keep showing up, like procrastination or For me, it was a lot of overcommitments in my schedule and then just saying yes. Like, so that was the big thing she worked with me on. And really it was the first and only, deep session that we needed was that. It busted that. Then the second one is that change needs to be complicated, which it doesn't need to be. You can grow through subtraction. Like, by doing less? How do you do more by doing less? Like all these things. But I noticed, I was like, shit, it's really like, she's having me see the other side of things. Everything is inverted. It's all this theory of inversion is just flipping. So the way is just like essentially showing something in a perspective and a light. You're like, wait, so what would actually make that true? Or like, what would that, and it's almost like a logical thing. You're like, oh, well, that's kind of dumb. Like I did this. I literally have a tree in my front yard yesterday, Matt. I was looking at this damn tree and I love this tree. It's a huge pine tree. And basically I was like, I love this thing. And I've been like hard nosed and getting rid of it because it's throwing sap on all of our cars. It's messy. It's nasty. It drops big pine cones everywhere. And basically a bunch of reasons to, I was looking at all the things that I love it, which was, I love the tree. I'm like, I couldn't think of anything other positive notes about the tree. So I flipped and used the inversion thing. And I was like, that's the only thing. It's like a pro con list. Yeah. There's like, the pro was like one thing and everything else were cons. So I was like, okay, tree's going. Tree's got to go. Yeah. Inversion theory complete.
Yeah. Love it. Any other big insights? Let's talk about this because this is something I know you and I have been working closely on too. So we actually had a call to be on his podcast last week or something. I don't know.
Whose podcast?
Mark's Acosta Rubio. So we had a call with Mark's Acosta Rubio. And he asked me, like, his podcast is basically like, how do you be more fulfilled and how do you feel happier with your results in life and things like that, right? Called
Getting Results.
Yeah, and we may even simulcast that episode to our feed, so that actually might end up a Hustle and Flowchart episode at some point.
Yeah.
But one of the questions he was asking about was like sort of keys to happiness kind of questions. I don't remember the exact context, but it's the first thing that popped into my head, and it sounded so nerdy at the time, was that productivity and time management and systems are the keys to happiness, right? And it's kind of funny because like that sounds really nerdy and it also doesn't sound like it can be very true. But when you really break it down, it's like, all right, so in my mind, one of the keys to happiness is being present in the moment. The conversation you're having, not thinking about what you did yesterday, not thinking about what you have to do tomorrow, what you have to do next week, not thinking in the future, not thinking in the past, just being present in the moment, in this conversation, in this experience that you're having, right? That's kind of a key to happiness, right? We can kind of both agree with that.
Yeah.
So how do you get stuff out of your head so you're not thinking about the future all the time? Well, there's unloading processes through things like David Allen's Getting Things Done and Tiago Forte's Evernote systems, which he calls PARA, like those sort of systems. And so like my whole thesis of the key to happiness is productivity and systems is if you can unload your brain into systems like Evernote and Getting Things Done style lists, then you're not as focused on what has to happen in the future because that's been unloaded. You have a place to store that for now and you don't have to think about that. You can be in the moment. And that was a sort of big insight for me. And I kind of just said it like off the cuff, like while recording this podcast. And that led you and me down a sort of rabbit hole of me showing you some of my productivity systems and things like that. So maybe we could touch on some insights there as well.
Ooh, I have monster insights all the way to this last weekend. Actually around the same time I looked at the tree in inversion theory. Inversion. No, it actually, so I see it as open loops, like monkey brain, monkey mind. Case in point, this weekend, I had no work to do. I didn't do work.
I didn't either.
I didn't want to do work.
Actually, I take it back. I wrote an email.
God, you worked too hard.
Yeah. I emailed our list on Sunday when I don't normally email on Sunday.
That's true. Yeah, I did. I read that. But yeah, like I didn't want to do work. I've been doing very good because of Mark's in that interview. Is to build our lives around basically our lives should be our lives. Work is around that. Yeah. It's not the other way around. We're not working to live. We're living to work.
Something Tramco's been trying to hammer into our head for the last 3 years that we've known him, but I think it's finally clicking.
Make more. I know. I was actually about to read his book, Work Less, Make More.
Yeah.
But I see it as open loops, and on Saturday, I had a really hard time just sitting still. It was really weird. I was hanging with the family all day long, but I was getting like halfway through the day, I was just like, I'm bored. What the hell? I can't like, and I try to just relax. I hired new landscapers where sometimes I've been having trouble. So I've been having to like work in my yard more, which I love. But like, okay, I'm forcing myself not to do that. I'm forcing myself to not do anything, Joe, and chill the fuck out.
Yeah.
And I couldn't. And I was getting actually short with my wife, and I was getting actually kind of like depressed feeling and bored and anxious and really like stressed. And then it wasn't until I started like working out and I actually went on a jog. But like, and then it came to me, I was like, it's the open loops. And it's like, I didn't unload everything on my brain, but also I think there's loops, open loops, but also you got to like move your body or like move yourself outside or like reset your mind somehow. So I was noticing that I did almost like half of that work.
Yeah.
I had most of it dumped out. I dumped a little bit more, but like I didn't have this like thing to just tell myself like, all right, go. And like for me, and then this goes back to my dad and his whole like patterns of depression and stuff. He didn't run towards the end of his life. Like for 3 years, like he got out of this daily routine of running. Like he would run like freaking 6 to 10 miles a day. And so I actually just ran around the block. That's all I did is I ran around the block of my house, and I was coming up, and it crossed my mind. It's all these fucking open loops, and I'm not alive unless I close those loops and make sure I do something like running to reset my ass like that. Like literally all it took was 2 minutes of me going around the block. I was like, I feel fine.
Yeah. I mean,
cool.
you know me, over the years, I've battled with anxiety like quite a bit, like sort of generalized anxiety where I can't even pinpoint why I'm feeling anxious. I'm just feeling anxious.
See, that's how I felt on Saturday. I was just like, what the hell is wrong with me?
It is 100% that. It comes all back to the open loop type stuff. It comes back to like you have something in your head that you either need to get down on paper so you don't forget it, or some sort of task that you've got to do later that maybe you haven't gotten out of your head and you don't have a date that you're going to do it yet. But I really think that ability to unload your brain and then also kind of put due dates to stuff too. So like having a system in your calendar where on this day I'm going to make sure I tackle this, on this day I'm going to tackle this, or you know, I use a tool called OmniFocus to put due dates on various things. But you know, that sort of unloading, but then also setting a date in your mind that you're going to take care of that thing is like part of closing that loop. You can close that loop in that moment by putting a due date on it, right? Totally. You can kind of go, okay, I know this needs to get done. I've just put it down on paper and I know when it's going to get done now. I don't need to think about it in this moment. Yeah. And that clears your brain. And that's been what I've found, right?
If it works, and for me, I noticed like it needed like a physical trigger. Like that's why literally the act of running, like that specifically is what, because I used to run a lot. And I did it as a meditative thing. I don't like it now because it actually hurts my body. And I prefer to lift weights because I feel way better and stronger. But just running around the block, it was able to like reset my brain.
Yeah.
And that was literally, and I could, I can go on the bike or like do a row or have all that stuff too. But for me, I don't know. It was just like me going outside in the sun running, which is physical. And I used to do it. And like, maybe it's a genetic thing with my dad. I'm like, dude, holy crap. This unlocked my brain. It was a shift in minutes. So I would say the open loop thing, figuring out how to do that, through systems, but also like figure out emotionally like how you operate a little bit.
Yeah, well, really, I think what it comes down to is a state and or location change, right? I think if you're always kind of in the same location, you fall into sort of patterns, right? If you always do work in your office at a computer, and that's like the only thing you ever do in your office, your brain sort of associates with like, this is what I need to be doing in this space, right? And a lot of times it's weird and it's kind of a little woo-woo-ish, but a lot of times, like if I'm sitting at my computer and I'm trying to think of like a solution to something I need to do in my gardening in my backyard, it's not going to come to me because this position sitting at my computer, my brain has anchored it as like, this is what happens in this space. And by changing your space, you actually can get some huge insights. So like for you going out and walking and, you know, maybe it's something that's like a pattern interrupt from what you normally do, changing that state, like changing your location and changing your state of mind, you had different insights and started to figure things out. You know, a lot of people they can be like real creative in like one portion of their house, and if they're going into like a different portion of their house, the creativity goes away for some reason, but sitting in a specific spot in their house triggers that creativity. And it's so fascinating to me how like just the physical location that you're trying to accomplish something in will have an impact on how you come around to that problem. And that was actually something I was reading an article on it the other day about how like it's almost like when you smoke weed, you build up a tolerance, right? So like the first few times you do it, you feel really, really high. You do it like every night for a couple weeks, and after a while, it takes you more and more and more to get the same effects, right? I was reading an article that was talking about how like even things like trying to solve problems, you sort of build up a tolerance in the various locations in your house. So if you try to do it in like a certain location in your house, and then you go try to do the same thing in a different location, like like you have a less of a tolerance in that other location, so the things happen easier in a new location. I don't know if I'm making sense, but it's like it was sort of comparing like building up a tolerance to like a drug or something to like building up a tolerance to a process that you do, but by changing the location that you try to do in that process, it's like starting your tolerance over again.
Well, think about the inverse theory. All you're doing is doing what you just built yourself up really good at looking at a problem in this one perspective. You totally forgot that there's a load of fucking other perspectives on the other side. You better start inverting your thinking now.
Yeah.
And now you don't have that tolerance, and it's like smoking weed again from the first day. And you're like, holy crap.
Yep.
I'm scared. So it's like, but
you and I, right?
With that analogy, now you could immediately see these new things that were like, how did I miss that?
Well, just look at like you and I too. When you and I have been having discussions lately, we used to have this process. We're already over the time. Sorry, people.
Oh yeah, we are even with our additional 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Damn it.
We've started. We always had this process of like every Monday, you and I would get on a call, and sometimes these calls would go for like 4 hours. But we were sort of planning out our week, kind of looking at the short term and also long term, and having discussions, and also catching up with each other from like what happened over the weekend. And like Monday was kind of a planning day, and I don't feel like we like innovated and really came to a lot of new conclusions for a while. And then we started doing like drives. We'd go jump in your car and we'd just cruise around town for an hour and start like having conversations in different locations around town. And all of a sudden our business ideas and the things we're accomplishing are starting to really explode again.
It really is. And that's where that flow for like, so taking it back to business a little bit. So with these minds, like closing the loops with me saying no to more, and ironically, I was just thinking about today. Like at the time of this recording, it's 4:58. It has been a full day of work today, and I'm like, but it's flown by. I'm like, holy crap! I talked to
days should feel like today.
I know, and I'm like, I got some shit done today.
Yeah, and
I know there's still a lot more I could tell myself, like, but I didn't look in my inbox all the way, and I'm like, I don't care, I can wait. Yep. That'll be tomorrow. But I know tomorrow's another stack day too. But it's all stuff that. So I'm finding
it's a fucking stacked week, dude.
I know, and I know it's not always going to be like this. It is kind of an anomaly week, but still, like, but we're stacked. Here's the cool thing about this week. We're also stacking it with you going on a trip on Friday.
And you and I going on a trip tomorrow, like a day trip.
Yeah, with our families. But even me on Friday, I was just told that like by my sister, hey, my new boyfriend's going to be in town and we want to do a barbecue at like, I think it was like 2:00.
Yeah.
Or 1:00. So I put that on the calendar and I'm like, cool. Well, I don't have any calls. Actually, Rich Sheffrin, I moved a call into like 30 minutes of that time. So I'm going to blame Rich, but that's okay. But after that, I'm like, no, I'm not going to work because I'm going to go hang out with the family.
Yeah.
And
I think that's something we've done.
We're building that better now.
We've done really good this month of like, okay, what calls do we need to have? What meetings do we need to have? What podcast interviews do we need to do? What sort of tasks do we need to get done? Okay, let's work that around our life and what do we want to be doing. Because in the past, we were always sort of working all the stuff we wanted to do around work, right? Like Alana would be like, hey, do you want to go to the beach on Tuesday? And I would go, I got this call and this call and this call. And now the new way of doing it is like, Alana might say, hey, next week I want to go to the beach on Tuesday. And I go, okay, cool. I'll plug it into my calendar. Won't schedule any calls. I'll only schedule shit around the personal stuff.
Yeah.
Where before we were trying to schedule personal stuff around the work stuff.
Yeah.
And we've sort of inverted that to like, we're kind of getting more of like our personal time in and scheduling the work shit that needs to get done around the personal time.
That's it. Yeah. It really comes to inverting everything, huh?
Yeah.
God
Okay.
damn, that's like if you ever get into like you feel like you're stuck in a pattern you can't get out of, invert it.
Yeah.
Invert that shit.
For sure.
Period. Like that's what it really sounds like. Every solution is like, oh, what do you do? Oh, I just did that other thing from another perspective that I didn't see before.
Yeah, it's all about. I mean, looking at things from literal different locations, right? Getting into a different location to think about a problem seems to have an impact. But then also attacking problems from a different angle, like maybe the inverse angle, attacking it from like, okay, this is the thing I want. What if I was going after the thing I don't want? What would I do to get there? So attacking it from a different angle,
or you could be start asking questions to other people that you haven't normally spoken to, like surveys or whatever.
Yeah.
Talking to your customers instead of not talking to your customers, like
oh shit,
things like that. Oh shit.
So quick, sort of like rapid round.
Yeah, we should probably wrap it up.
So like, let's try to do this in like 2 minutes.
Let's go.
Any tools, books, movies, documentaries, anything cool like that you want to share for this month?
Okay, so Systemology is a book that is not out yet, but I did just finish, and that's going to be a great book by David Jenkins. Oh, I'm butchering his last name.
Jennings. Right?
Jennings, yeah, I believe. So Systemology, look out for it. It's basically the E-Myth, but like a practical manual, and it's cool. So that's a good read. I did finish Michael Jordan's documentary finally. Well,
the 10-part thing, The Last Dance?
Last Dance. Epic. Definitely. As Kevin Hart told Joe Rogan, watch it. Text me when you watch
I'm curious if Joe Rogan ever actually watched it.
Well, you should watch it. I know you have.
Yeah.
Crisp, that app is crushing it, man. Like I know it's KRISP .app or something, but it's like a free 120 minutes a week. I pay for it. It's super cheap. But like I have a loud house. Baby's always crying. My wife is doing things like recording podcasts too, and we're not far from each other. So that thing is amazing. I had more as you were asking that question.
So you mentioned a book, you mentioned a tool, and you mentioned a movie, TV kind of / TV series. That's kinda...
Oh, I've been watching Space Force.
Oh yeah, that was funny.
I just finished it. The first season. It's stupid comedy, and I love it. So watch that. All right. So books. Hold on. So I'm starting a book that Will Clyden, Ojai recommended, Brain Hacks or Brain Games or something. Oh, I have some tools. I just remembered. I forget the exact book. Next month I'll come back with you'll like it. It's mental models and stuff.
I remember him mentioning it. I can't remember the name of the book.
Ironically, inversion theory was like the very first one it talked about. I was like, dude, this thing's following me around. It's so powerful. Shoot, what was this? Oh, an app to get Voice Dream.
Voice Dream. What does that
Voice
do?
Dream. So it's one of these apps that Rich Schefrin uses to basically read along with a book. You can upload like a PDF or an EPUB or whatever, a doc, I think. And it even OCRs it. So if you had just a PDF that, couldn't be read, it would OCR the thing. And which would mean basically AI can read it. And so this app basically will allow you to read along with the audio and play
it in your microphone. So basically
Pride and Prejudice.
So basically has like a computer reading it to you, but it also shows the words on the screen, and it highlights like whatever word is being said in the moment, right? So you can kind of follow, like it uses as like a pacer for you. And
you can then speed it up, which literally I think Rich Schefrin says that he lives in the 600 to 700 words per minute category I think this is when he's reading, not just listening. So what he will do is, I'm up to maybe like 300-ish, 305. But that's me like reading and still trying to listen to every word. So the whole thing, I'm realizing, I'm like, holy crap, I can this is how I read that Systemology book so fast. I just went to as high as I could audibly understand, almost like an audiobook. but now on steroids because I'm watching it, so my eyes are just tracking along with the thing on screen.
Mm-hmm.
The line and the word, it'll highlight both. So I'm actually finding, I think I'm inputting better, like it's syncing in both ways, two senses.
Mm-hmm.
So Voice Stream, it's a paid app, but it's like, I think it's sick.
Nice.
And you can upload like any book and boom, now you have an audiobook essentially.
Hey guys,
Bless you.
Hey, it's not coming
You
out.
could sneeze. There it is.
There it is.
Good. Get it out.
I actually haven't started any new books recently.
Oh, really?
I've been pretty slow
Slacker.
on reading. I've been working through. I'm actually still. I haven't finished The Courage to Be Disliked. I'm pretty close to the end,
Dude.
but
I want to reread that book.
I'm
That's
trying
a
to
good
think.
one.
Is there any other books that I've gone through? I think that's really the only one I've read. Like I've been working on recently. I haven't been doing a lot of reading the last like 4 weeks or so.
The next one I want to read is The Future is Faster Than You Think by Peter Diamandis and Stephen Kotler. Stephen Kotler is about to come on the show soon.
Mhm.
So that's partially a prep for that. But I heard that's awesome. I was going to say, let's see here. I've heard Story Brand. That's another one I'm going to reread.
Mhm.
A lot of people have been talking about that again for some reason. Reason is because it's good.
Mhm.
No, I'm looking at the.
I got a software I've been playing with.
Yeah, go for it.
It's called Members Pro. Have you heard of it?
Oh, I have actually. Yeah, talk about Members Pro. This is a takeaway.
Yeah.
Well,
so
hold on. Sorry. Talk about like what we're doing together as like maybe the structure or.
Yeah, so Members Pro is a company that we're working with. We're for all intents and purposes, we basically partnered with this company. It's think of like a Teachable or a Thinkific, but we're going to take it in a completely different direction, right? They're like it's a membership platform where it's hosted on our servers, and you basically run your membership through our platform. There is tools like Teachable and Thinkific that exist to do that, but those are all very like linear courseware, right? It's like you watch module 1, then watch module 2, watch module 3, etc., and you kind of go through the flow of listening to or watching all these modules. What we'd like to sort of develop is more of a vault style membership where you can have a lot of content in there, but maybe it's not designed to go through linearly. So obviously you listeners are a member of our membership site. Well, we're not a linear membership site. We'll have a video one day about how to run Facebook ads and a video the next day on, a meditation that you can do, right? And so there's kind of a lot of content from a lot of different guests that have come on our podcast over the years. And we'd like to build this into a platform that's designed for memberships that are trying to have that outcome. Yeah. And as far as I know, there's no other platform on the market that is designed to do this kind of thing that's not like a WordPress plugin or something.
Yeah. So it's a really, so these guys, Members Pro is actually Chris Benetti is an avid, member of our EGP membership, but also just listener of Hustle and Flowchart. So super cool that, we're able to just work with him at a partner level, basically. And, we're going to grow this thing, but also build in some interesting tech that just doesn't exist that we've been wanting forever. Like we've been talking about how we want to get into software, but really, us, we're in the content game. We've been online, training game for a long time. So like this only is an extension of what we do. Yeah. So it's like, it's kind of a dream to be able to work on this project. And this came from just us and the microphone, really, if you think about it, and us learning to be in our flow, essentially this month, again, allowed us to figure out what to focus on in our business and double down on and eliminate the other BS that we've been really clouding our time and days with. But now we're like forcing it out because we're scheduling family stuff, we're scheduling activities, dicking around.
I feel like we have this month in June, I feel like I've probably put in less hours than I have in the last like 3 months, like actually at a computer.
Yeah.
Like I'm not saying like our conversations, like where we're out driving and stuff, I don't really consider that like hours into the business, right? Because that's a combo of business and personal.
Yeah.
But I feel like the time sitting at a computer actually doing shit has been a lot less this month for me in June. Yeah. But we've had one of our best months in a couple of years in June.
Sure. Yeah. And if it's crazy and the month's still not over and we're doing some cool stuff in the next 2 days of this month.
Yeah.
So like stuff can get even crazier. And this is us with and mind you, a slimmed down team.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know if we actually said it publicly or anything, but we are not working with Shannon anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Shannon's awesome, but like it was like the business got so efficient, and like we cut a lot of these practices that really, honestly, they were not serving the business from a serving content, like a value, like putting the right value out, but also monetarily, like profits for us. It wasn't serving either of those.
Yeah.
It was almost like we were spinning our wheels in sand and not going anywhere.
Yeah. I think we kind of found ourselves a little bit. It's been the Evergreen Profit story has been a coming of age story, and we're finally kind of getting to the.
It's not over.
Yeah. No, we've kind of figured some shit out. We've figured out a little bit better around that work life, home life balance. We've kind of gotten that keyed in to the point where I don't really feel like a lot of the times when I'm working. Right? Like I feel like it's all just kind of a big mesh of like, this is what my day looks like. Some of it I'm getting some work done, and some of it I'm with my family, and some of it I'm, kind of by myself in quiet contemplation, right?
I have a question. So as yes to everything. Do you ever feel the guilt though? Like guilt because this is something I battle with. And I know we're going over on time, but now this is getting into a good therapy session.
This is essentially just a therapy session for members only now, but...
Or maybe it is a podcast. Who knows? That's fine too.
We'll see.
It is basically like sometimes I think it's a subconscious guilt.
Mm-hmm.
It's not one of like top of mind, like, oh, I should be working, or I need to get that thing done right now because it's there and I know I can do it, or I said I was going to do it, because there's a lot of guilt, like, and that can come from overwhelming your day with like a big to-do list or whatever. But do you ever feel the guilt of not getting something done, or
I
at night or mainly in the weekend, like those times, like out of the stereotypical non-work times?
I mean, I don't really get guilt over the weekends, like let's say Saturday, Sunday, or like after like 5 in the afternoon if I'm not at my computer. I don't really like. There's not guilt there. I do battle like in the middle of the day a little bit more. Never mind.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's actually the sweet spot. So
there is still like, and it's just the programming, dude. It's like we've been programmed for this shit our whole lives, right? Like from the moment we started school, we've kind of learned that like you have hours where you have to be focusing on this thing, and then hours where you're not having to focus on that thing. And when you get out of school and you get a job, you've got hours where you've got to be focused on work, and then hours where you're supposed to not be focused on work. And like that's just how we've been programmed for so long. And so like that's gonna be really fucking tough to break. And it's like, yeah, I mean, I definitely feel that
a little bit. Yeah.
And like if it's like a Tuesday at like 11 a.m. and like I'm we're headed to the beach or something, and I know you're back at the computer getting shit done, like in my head that's weighing on me a little bit. I'm sitting there going, man, I should I really be at the beach right now? I know like we should be getting work done, but then I'll start to justify it and go, yeah, but when I get back from the beach, when the kids go to bed, I'll put in a couple more hours. And then like by the end of the day, I'll probably have worked as many hours as Joe did. But then that's going back to that thinking of like hours equals like value. The goal of the business. Like I need to be putting in the same amount of hours as you. The goal of the business isn't for me to be putting in hours and you to be putting hours. No. The goal of the business is to make fucking money and back ourselves out of it as much as possible. So it's like by actually getting to a point where we feel like we've achieved our goal, we start to feel guilty about the fact that we're doing the thing that was the goal in the first place.
Exactly. That's the exact, yeah. And I think you're right. It's just programming. It's us. Obviously, like we can build that into our business, and we can choose to build it out as well.
Yeah.
Like, and do what we're doing now. And I think we're going to refine it even more, saying no to just the stuff that would fill that space. I mean, what's the law where it's like whatever space you give yourself, you're going to fill?
Is that Pareto's principle?
No, that's 80/20.
Parkinson's law?
Maybe Parkinson's.
Yeah, I don't know. I get a few of those mixed up.
Yeah.
Pareto's 80/20, right?
Yeah. But Marx basically challenged us back to that Getting Results podcast we did. He challenged us to I think he said work less than 5 hours a day, I believe is what he said. And because that's like one of the best ways to prioritize the big shit and start actually in making more money with that time, because now you're going deep in the well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know like So, I'm leaving to go on a little extended weekend trip this coming weekend, and I know we're trying to get out of here by like 1 in the afternoon. I guarantee I'll have most of my damn work done by 11 a.m. because I'm going to need time to like pack up the car and load the kids up and, do all the, go fill up the gas tanks and all that kind of stuff. So, Mark's sort of idea of squeeze your day down to 5 hours, don't let yourself work over 5 hours, it kind of forces you to go, okay, I'm going to try to get all the same shit I usually got done in 8 hours done in 5 hours. And what you find out is like, oh, there was a lot of fucking dead time in my 8-hour day that when I shoot for a 5-hour day, I'm just like, bam, 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 knock it all out in a row and I'm done with my day.
That's right. Yeah. And then that's hours where you and I aren't going to get on some call that's going to last a while. And, it's not going to be you answering or checking emails all
when
the time.
You do get on calls, you're like, guys, what do we got to talk about here, guys? Let's do this and get out of here.
No, that was actually our intention with this, is to put a time limit on here because we didn't want it to bleed for 37 minutes, which it already is. But
I think this is just showing we're not doing enough therapy sessions.
No, I know.
Like if this stuff starts flowing out when we turn the mics on, maybe we should be doing more therapy sessions.
I think we should, because we haven't in a while. Maybe this does become one. We'll decide later. Yeah. But
if you're hearing this in our feed, then it did.
It made the cut. But switching costs are another one that I've been thinking of a lot lately. So yes, it's very easy to, say I'm just going to do my day in phone calls, but I'm going to buffer just enough time to me to end a call and then hop to another call, end a call and hop to another call. And I'm going to get 3 or 4 calls done by 10 o'clock and I'm going to be a rock star. Just did all these, but it's like the switching costs. Your brain literally can't prepare, can't digest, can't sink in the information or figure out how to follow up or anything for any one of those calls, and now you're just gonna leapfrog to another one, to another one, to another one.
Yeah.
And I'm just constantly thinking, like, that's one example of how it'll show up sometimes with me. I'm not that bad. But I know there's a lot of people that just book, but it's like, think about what you're doing to your brain.
Yeah.
Like, and then you just, like, for me, I think I would freak out all the time because I'm like, so many open loops now, and I have had no chance to like unload my brain from that previous call or prepare for even 5 minutes before my next call.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's like, it's more about getting into flow, and like the switching cost is the cost of basically just stopping the flow, right? Like for me, when I'm doing a lot of technical tasks, right? Like maybe I'm going and building out some Facebook ads, or I'm in the middle of writing an article or writing emails to our list or something, I will get into a flow state, right? I'll put on my headphones, throw on some Brain FM and just kind of put my head down and just fucking start busting stuff out. And I will just like crank through work. I'll look up and I'll be like, oh man, I did everything I needed to do, and like 3 hours has passed, but I'm done with my day today, right? And like I will just kind of fall into that flow state where time just disappears and I just knock everything out.
Yeah.
Right? If I have a day where it's like, okay, I've got a call at 1, I've got a call at, let's say 2:30, and then there's another call at 5, I will not get into a flow state that entire day because my brain is anticipating stopping, and I can't get into a flow state if there's an anticipation that I need to stop at a certain point. Right? But if I look at my calendar and I go, oh, there's no calls today, I have a wide open day. All right, cool. I'm going to go into Facebook ads and I'm going to write some emails, and then I sort of schedule my day of like completing these 3 big rocks for the day. I will just crank it out. I won't think twice about it. I'll look up at the clock. The day will have like 5 hours will have flown by. It felt like 2. I'll have knocked everything out, and I will just be like, I will feel really, really, really good about the day. But when I know that there's a hard stop, that I've got to stop the work, even if that hard stop is 3 hours from now, it's like in my subconscious or something, and it prevents me from getting into a flow state.
Yeah, it's interesting because like I sometimes feel that way. Sometimes the wide open days like freak me out because I don't have an end time. And obviously I could just do that by saying, hey, I'm going to go work out at like 3 o'clock or something like that. Like I'm going to go for a run. But like and right now what I've been finding actually that does help me is opposite of what you just said. But putting like a call at like, let's say noon or 1, and then maybe another one later. Maybe there's just one call, but putting it out like enough space out, it actually does give me kind of like this container in time to work within. And so it actually gives me an ending point, because I know for me at least, like I will make sure it's done by that call. Or if it's not, like the only thing I've left is to like review what I just did and hit send or whatever.
Yeah.
Like the work is done. So it's weird. I don't know. It's figuring out whatever works for you.
Yeah. I mean, I think for me, like going all the way back to circling back around to the whole like guilt question, like the guilt is slowly starting to fade, but it is definitely still there. Like it is still hard to break that programming of like, it's the middle of the day. I need to be like doing something at my computer. Or I need to be on a phone call. Or I need to be accomplishing something that's pushing the business forward right in this moment. And if it's like a weekday between like 9 and 5, I will still kind of get that from time to time. And, that's probably one of the things that I still need to break through on my own, but I think we're both kind of getting better at it. And I think the way you and I are getting better at it is sort of reinforcing it on the other person.
Yeah. Well, shoot, that's how it's got to be done. Yeah, with us, and it works because other people are putting it on us. I feel like this is just a perfect time that so many business coaches or other coaches like Aaron have, which I would say is business coach too, are showing up. All these quote unquote mentors, peers, partners, team members are all showing up at these points where I feel like, I don't know, it's like go time now. We're shaving off all the stuff that doesn't serve and changing our mental models to think clear into what's actually going to drive us like out of this constant, I don't know, like we always look back and we feel like it's always been constant. It's obviously not. We've done a lot of crazy stuff, but like now the growth looks like it's just way easier and more fun, which is really cool. So that's I don't know what else to cover.
Yeah, I mean we covered way more than we anticipated on our 16-minute call, which is now 43-ish minutes. So
people better be listening to this though, nonetheless.
Yeah,
I think it will help.
It's either going to go in the members area or it's going to go in the members area and just be another therapy session. If you're listening to this because you subscribe to our podcast, then we made it a therapy session.
Thank you for listening.
And also
tell others, please. We love that.
Realize we should probably make more therapy sessions. Yeah. Subscribe to the show if you haven't already.
We never ask people like in the course of the conversation and like, go tell others.
Tell other people and subscribe.
Yeah. And subscribe. And that helps telling others through the algorithms. But dang, man, like, if you have some buddies out there in business that are like I've been getting actually, so just like I've been listening to a lot more feedback lately of new people finding it from friends and colleagues and stuff. And it's like, man, you guys cover so much where I actually don't know half of this stuff, what the half stuff means when you guys are talking about it, but you guys are so energetic and like happy about it. And I'm so curious. I want to learn about it. I just don't know but like I'm learning so much in the course of just listening.
We're good at faking it. Half the times I have no idea what our guests are talking about.
Well, then we're really good fakers.
But no, there have been a couple episodes lately where I'm like, it's over my head and I'm kind of nodding going, that's really, really interesting. And then I'll try to think of questions to help me clarify, but then I don't even feel smart enough on the topic to ask a clarifying question.
Well, the point being here though, is that it's such high quality stuff that like, and there's all walks of life. Like, we were chatting with a few other people recently saying like, and these are big name folks in our industry that we look up to. And they're like, man, I love your show. Holy crap. Like you are talking about this thing and then you had this person. And I'm like, yeah, like it's so exciting how there's like a brand new newbie just as excited as like a veteran who's been in the game and knows this stuff.
Yeah.
So all I ask is share it with people who you feel like need it.
Yeah.
And I think you know who that is.
Yeah. Your mom.
Maybe. I hope my mom listens. She already listens, Matt.
That's true.
Too slow.
I don't think my mom listens, but she has tuned into some of our live streams.
Well, sir, your mom.
Your mom.
Your mom even like, how about your dad? Did your dad listen?
No, but he is a business owner.
He doesn't listen to the podcast?
No, he'd be mad that
How
I
often?
swear.
He would be mad. He'd probably be mad about a lot of stuff. That's so funny because it's public and he was like, he just chooses not to know.
No. He
Your
would be mad that I
cool.
swear. You know my dad.
I know. I was just...
I swear because of my dad. Yeah.
I know. I'm like, your dad is just an extension of you, just a little bit older. A little bit grayer, but not much.
Shut up. A little bit grayer, but not much.
That's right. Your dad's got jet black hair. That's what I'm saying. No, I'm just kidding. Your dad should listen to the show, though.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think I've pointed him to some episodes.
I think I have too, because he's asked about
Yeah.
he said like, yeah, man hasn't really told me what's latest with the business. I'm like, listen to the podcast. We have episodes dedicated for that. That's the only way my mom understands my business.
Yeah. Why do our tens of thousands of listeners know more about my business than you do, Dad? You have the same opportunity as them.
What's your dad's email address?
I'm not going to state it publicly.
Tell other people to go email him and say, hey, listen to your son's podcast.
I'm sure he would appreciate that.
He'd probably laugh at the first 5 and then get about 50,000.
Yeah. 50,000. I think you're overestimating our audience a little bit there.
All right. What are we looking forward to in July? Jesus, it's July already.
But if this gets released as a therapy session, which I'm pretty much thinking it is now based on the way we're talking.
Why not? I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, this will have come out in July, that means.
Well, what are we excited for this month?
What do we got going on?
Just rattle them quick. We have a lot of cool stuff. Okay, we're doing an intensive with Digital Marketer. That's actually in June, technically, about podcasting. No, that is in July.
Yeah, that's July 1st or 2nd.
Cool. Yeah. So we're doing a podcast intensive, digital intensive. It's supposed to be in person in Austin, Texas at the Digital Marketers headquarters. Obviously, people aren't together now, except for Matt and I, because
we're breaking the law. We're a group smaller than 5.
We're in very tiny groups.
Because we're
family. 2 of us last I checked.
Family only, right?
Pretty much family. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, let's be honest. So
we pay each other's bills. That's like family.
We do. We do. Oh, man. Yeah. I want to go deeper down the route. And
we can make a 3-hour therapy session if we wanted to, which is why we need to get back in the habit of doing a monthly therapy session.
Yeah. But so I was going down some freaking rabbit hole that now I'm off.
Yeah. We're looking at what's coming up in July. So we've got War Room.
Yeah, intensive.
The War Room intensive. So if you're a War Room member, you'll be able to see that.
No, it's not War Room. It's Digital Marketer.
Oh, I thought it was a War Room intensive.
Negative. It's a Digital Marketer. Maybe it is War Room. I don't know. We'll find out. So I
thought on the calendar it said War Room intensive.
Oh, does it? I guess we could check the calendar from Deanna. If it's War Room, that's cool too. Okay.
It's War Room WR.
Oh, okay. I guess we're speaking of War Room again. Cool. I didn't know that.
So also in July, we've got a product coming out with Jay Abraham and Rich Heffron.
Yeah, that's like mid-July-ish. So we don't have dates totally down confirmed. But yeah, we're doing a product with Jay Abraham and Rich Heffron. We are not in that product, but we are presenting it, we'll say.
Yeah, we're facilitating it.
Yes. I like that. Presenting, facilitate.
I mean, we essentially brokered the deal and we'll be facilitating the content.
Yeah. No, it's how freaking cool. And Bruce,
did you ever think we'd be in a position where we were brokering a deal between you, me, Rich Heffron, and Jay Abraham?
No.
Yeah, well, we are. Like, that's cool. Pretty freaking cool.
It's really cool. Here,
like that's kind of like pinch myself kind of territory there.
Oh no, that was horrible. You just hit my dad.
Make me feel guilty about giving you a high five.
He says, fuck off. I have ashes of my dad on a bracelet and Matt just hit him.
Jesus.
It's all in good fun.
So on that note, yeah, so we've got the War Room Intensive.
So we're doing that. No, very grateful. Back to that. No, I'm serious. Like, I'm not downplaying that at all.
Yeah.
It is pinch. This is what life is becoming, and I feel like this is back to the flow state. So yeah, we're doing that. We're doing that promotion, and we'll probably share it to everyone here in our email. So make sure you're getting the notes of this episode.
Yeah.
Now that it's officially going to be a therapy session, there's going to be notes on this.
Yep.
That's at hustleandflowchart.com.
Depends. I was thinking about maybe doing like therapy sessions. Let's talk this out real quick.
Oh.
Maybe we can do like a special therapy session episode, but like release it like one Sunday a month or something. So it's like an end of the month recap like this, and we just release it like the last Sunday of the month.
I'm down.
And maybe we just don't do show notes on it. It's just like if you're listening to the RSS feed, then you get these bonus episodes.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, let's do it, because if you want to get the notes, let's be honest, get the EGP letter.
Yeah,
get the membership. Come on.
Yeah.
Just if you're hurting, like if $15 a month or $59 a year is too much, no shame. Just write into our support and we'll like hook you up with a fatty discount.
Yeah.
Like at cost, basically. We do have some cost for the physical letter, but
Yeah, exactly.
like, come on, like, don't abuse it. But
Yeah, I mean,
we
we
want to help more people.
We want to
out,
get the
you know?
content in front of people is our main goal.
Yeah, that's always our goal. That's why we had this podcast in the first place. So yes, I love the Sunday idea.
Yeah, let's
get down more content in front of people that want it.
Yeah, so it's an extra episode per month, but we're not going to publicly publish show notes and stuff for it. That's just for people that are subscribed to the show, essentially.
I like it, man.
So
I like this. So this is your treat, being a subscriber. If you're not a subscriber, this is just more of a reason to be a subscriber.
Yeah.
You will get more because guaranteed. Now that we know that we're probably gonna do some cool stuff. I don't know. This is gonna be like Insider Sundays, Saturday. What days?
I don't know. We'll figure it out. They're dropping when you see them in the RSS feed. I don't know. It's going to be a non-Tuesday, Thursday episode.
Okay,
It'll be some other day of the week.
Hey, if you have any feedback or if you're looking for that like a fatty discount hookup, whatever, holla at us. It's info@evergreenprofits.com. info@evergreenprofits.com.
Yeah, we just want to get more of you guys tuning in and checking it out. It's not a cash grab by any means.
No.
It's really just hey, we want more people consuming the content. If we haven't said it already, we'll say it now, and if we have said it, we'll say it again.
Okay,
we make most of our money by doing these other deals, right? Our the money is made on the affiliate promotions that we do, these brokering deals that we do, the consulting that we do. This other stuff is where the money's made. We make practically nothing on our membership. We just wanted to create an easy resource for people to just kind of see everything we've got available, right? Like, so that's what that's for. Joe's giving me the wrap it up signal.
No, I was saying
like he's starting to play the music at the Academy Awards right now.
I was saying no. That was actually a continued talking.
Oh, you were telling me. That was the rap because when we're podcasting. That's the symbol for
water over there. So.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, so.
That's our normal symbol for wrap it up on the podcast.
No, I don't care about the time, honestly. No, I'm not even caring because I know it's a therapy session.
Yeah.
But no, what I was going to say is, actually, what did you just say? Because now that just took me out of my train. I
was telling him the point of the membership site is to have a centralized place to access everything. So it's our centralized place to get access to the notes, get access to our videos, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So our goal is to get people in there, and it's not a money grab. Yeah, it's 100% that. And I think we've never totally talked about it, but like honestly, our membership is it's an extension of this podcast where we try to give the most amount of things away. Absolutely free. And the only reason there's notes is that it's a cost.
Yeah.
It's a cost of marketing. It's a cost of, paper and note taking and all that. And also just it's really covering the cost of the podcast production, everything you see in here.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like this literally is not the moneymaker for us. This
at all.
No.
We have customers we're losing money on.
Yeah. And that's okay. Yeah. We literally do have, that are like just hardcore buddy hookups or great customers of ours that we gifted or whatever.
Yep.
Which we have quite a bit. We probably should watch that.
We give away numbers
too
in a
much
while.
of the farm.
Let's not try to think about it.
But come on, like do us a favor and like ask for a discount if you really need it. If you've been sitting on the sidelines, like we want to hook you up and tell your buddies. And if you've got some person out there that wants some help, needs some help, like we're starting to get a lot more of these people now reaching out to us and like thinking and like I'm more seeing like, holy crap, like this is making an impact, but I know it makes even more of an impact when people jump into the actual getting the newsletter condensed, but also then like all the video and all these crazy resources. People are literally saying like, you're tripling my business in like a hardcore time of history.
Yeah.
And like, I learned it from this affiliate marketing. Like I've heard so many of these different.
It's crazy.
It's cool.
So I want to go back to your original question about what we're excited for July.
I got excited.
We got a little,
it's not even in July yet.
A little tangenty, but yes, definitely. That's what the whole point of the members area is. But some of the other things that I'm excited about for July, we've got some really, really cool guests coming up. We're interviewing Zachary Babcock, who I think he's going to be a really fun interview.
Yeah.
He was in prison for a while, got out of prison, decided he was going to like completely turn his life around, did it through podcasting. Phenomenal story. So I'm super excited to like talk to him about it. And then we're going to go on his podcast as well. We're going to do them back to back and record both right
He's got a crazy
other.
Personality, huh?
Yeah, he's
hardcore.
He'll be interesting. He'll be a fun one. He's a good dude. I've had a few calls with him. I really like him a lot.
Hey, that's crazy. Crazy is cool.
Yeah.
Stephen Kotler is another one that we're having on the show. He rescheduled from earlier in June, but that's cool. So we're chatting with him, and I mentioned his book earlier. The Future is Faster Than You Think, I believe it's what it's called.
Yep.
So it's, if you liked
Stealing Fire.
No, guy that we spoke to, Mark Joyner. If you liked Mark Joyner's interview, which a lot of people said they did, and his book of something how to be riches in 2020,
the Roadmap to Wealth in 2020.
That's it. Yeah. Check out this book, Stephen Kotler's book.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't grabbed that book yet, but that's gonna be probably
Solid.
that'll probably be my next read.
It's good. Yeah.
You have already read it then?
No, I'm starting.
Okay.
No, it's already solid. I've read like summaries already, and just like the concept of it is, it's the compounding of compounding systems, basically. Like if you know compounding of any kind of like thing that you can then exponentially grow, it's like how the world is moving that way.
Yeah.
That's why like the curve, we're going up that curve at a rapid pace.
Oh, I'm excited because I read Bold, which was DeMantis and also Kotler, right? When they both involved in that one. Freaking amazing book. Like that, literally that book got me excited about futurism topics.
Right.
Like that was the catalyst for me getting excited to like futuristic kind of stuff. John Crestani's coming on. Really,
affiliate marketer.
Yeah, he's an affiliate marketer, but he's like big time affiliate, like super affiliate, just really crushing it.
YouTuber,
right? YouTube, and I think he does some SEO stuff, and I think he does some. Well, I know he does some paid traffic stuff because I went through one of his affiliate marketing courses, and it was mostly focused on paid traffic.
Okay. Yeah.
He does like native ad type stuff.
Yeah, like Taboola and all that.
Yeah, big media buys. So a lot of avenues we can go down with him.
Nice.
I'm really excited about that.
Who
one.
Who else?
We got David Jennings, who you mentioned.
Oh yeah, Systemology. I've been so David has been such a cool guy. He came over to us from Charlie Fowler out in Valor Media. Holla. He's a good buddy of ours, and David is super cool. I read and listened to an advanced copy of his book, and I wrote an acknowledgement for an endorsement for it too. It was kind of cool. But yeah, that's so David has a whole software thing on the back end of the book.
Yeah.
Systemsology.
We're interviewing Mark Webster. So if you know the site authorityhacker.com, it's a real big sort of content marketing site. They do various tool reviews and case studies on content marketing. Yeah, really big site. Yeah. So we have him, one of the founders of that site is coming on our show. We're interviewing him later in July. Actually interviewing him the same day we're interviewing Stephen Kotler.
Nice.
We're doing some training for the league. Kennedy and Rob.
And they're over at the Email Marketing Show. So yeah, I forgot what we've been doing a lot of these trainings lately where we usually are talking about one of three things: traffic, podcasting, or affiliate marketing. And that was part of our a thing this last month, Matt, is we identified what are the three buckets that we really live in, and like we basically build all of our content around that now. Like whenever we guest podcast or guest feature ourselves on like a training platform to a mastermind group, is like, all right, well, we live in these three buckets. Where do you want us? Is literally it. It's like, and then like I'm doing a training tomorrow with Scott Carson for the social media marketing something 2020. And I'm like, what do you want? And he just said traffic. And that was one word. I'm like, done. Cool. Like, I don't even have to respond. I'm like,
oh, there's a whole conversation that we can have. This is probably a future therapy session, but there's a whole conversation you and I can have about SEO that we're just realizing like, we're actually kind of good at SEO, but by accident, we didn't realize we were being good at SEO.
Yeah.
So now we're reverse engineering what we did to get the good SEO that we have, and we're sort of discovering some insights. But I'll open that loop for a future episode
later. Yeah.
But yeah, and then other than that, I'm going to Colorado later this month.
Good for you.
If they, assuming they're still letting people get on planes and states are still letting people travel between states.
I hope so. But yeah, we're not traveling much with the little one, but we're doing more of we're doing staycations.
Yeah.
So we're planning those, I think, in July. No, we're not in July. I think we're just going to do more days instead. Like baby goes away somewhere else and dad and mama are going to go take a nap.
Yeah. That's one of the things that I'm going to miss. That so we actually just pulled our kids out of public school. We're going to do homeschool next year. That's one of the things I'm sort of going to miss is like a lot of times we'd go and drop the kids off at school, and then Alana and I would go like straight from dropping them off at school to go get breakfast or something. I have a
solution for you. Yeah. Called We Should Get a Freaking Office.
We should. How would that solve me going on dates with my wife in the middle of the day.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were saying the kids at home thing.
Oh no, I mean that I've almost tuned out. I got big old headphones.
You tuned out your kids pretty well.
My door's got a lock, and I got big old fat headphones.
That is true. Okay. Sorry, I was thinking. No, obviously spend time with your wife.
No, the thing that I'm going to miss when they're not going to school anymore, or going away to school anymore, is the ability to just like go drop them off at school and then go get breakfast. We'd go on like breakfast dates a lot.
I like that. That's cool.
But we'll be doing that probably a little less often. But you know, my parents and Alana's parents both live fairly close by.
Dude, so. you can arrange. And see, that's what we're doing is like figuring out how to strategically arrange our family. Because let's be honest, I live with a lot of family right around me. It's very simple to get help. I'm very fortunate in that regard. The lockdown has not really prevented us. But so it's like ponder off for, like 5 hours if we could do that, at any one time. And then it's like, cool, we're going to freaking go do whatever all day long.
Yeah.
Or at least most of the day where we would typically be thinking about a kid.
The other thing that we've been talking about a lot lately too, and I know it's sort of like a mutual sort of dream for you guys as well, because we've had this discussion, is Alana and I have been talking a lot about maybe getting an RV and just kind of doing more road trips, because our kids will be able to work from from anywhere. We have their entire year's curriculum up front. So like,
do you already have it? Like literally?
No, we don't have it physically yet, but you get the entire year's of content up front. And so you can kind of work through their school stuff at whatever pace you'd like to.
That kind of sounds fun, man.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to do it in like a normal school year, like over a course of like 8 months, they recommend basically doing school with your kids for about 2 hours a day. But you can accelerate that if you want. Like you can try to cram more curriculum into a shorter amount of time and get it done faster. Like you get to set the pace in homeschool, right?
This is crazy.
So
see, that's another programming thing. I'm just like, my mind is blown over here. I'm like, it's all just man-made constructed crap, Joe.
That's the whole like
what the
yeah,
like, it's not, it shouldn't be, it doesn't, just because it is like this doesn't mean it needs to be like that.
Dude, the school thing is something I've had a hard time wrapping my head around. But I think a lot of it for me is like this sort of nostalgia factor of like, I went to elementary school, I went to middle school, I went to high school, I went to recess, I had kids that I played with on the playground that were my best friends at school, and that sort of thing. And in my head, I'm like, that was my experience. My kids should experience the same thing I experienced. But like, is that really true? I think I'm just romantic and nostalgic about my own experience, but it doesn't mean my kids would have the exact same experience I had if I put them in the exact same scenario.
Because they wouldn't have the same.
They probably wouldn't.
Impossible.
And looking back at it, if I was looking at like my childhood, would I have preferred my parents to keep me in school for 8 hours a day, or 6 hours a day, 5 days a week, and have some of those friendships in the recess and all that kind of stuff? Or would I have rather been on the road, seeing different cities with my family, getting to see new environments, learning different cultures, things like that, but with my family and actually sort of meeting interesting people along the way? What would I have preferred? Probably hands down that second option.
You're learning on the fly. You get to be with your family more. You're with your unit, it's like, and your parents are actually involved, like fully immersed, in your learning. It's not like send them off to day camp, come on back every day, and then it's like, okay, what do you learn? Kid's not going to tell you. So it's like you're not really as involved in their life. And that's, I feel like, way more fulfilling, because you're seeing these like mental shifts like we've been talking about here. Like, how freaking cool is that as their educator and their parent? And you're like, fuck yeah. Like, that you got this. And like,
my kids are going to know SEO by the age of 10.
Sure. Yeah.
How many 10-year-olds are going to know how to do SEO?
If they want to, I'm sure someone would. Maybe not. Maybe they want to pick up that guitar on your wall and become really freaking good at it. And that could be like part of the curriculum. Like,
for sure. It could be.
Think about that, dude. Now that forces you to play the guitar probably even better and learn the curriculum prior to teaching that on. Like, you should figure out where guitar lessons come into play, because that is in some type of curriculum.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. So when you sign up for homeschool, like there's basically public funds that go towards homeschool parents too, to pay for the curriculums and stuff, and music lessons and art lessons and things like that are approved curriculums.
See, I don't know any of this stuff. Okay,
Yeah.
that's cool.
So like,
Dude, how cool is that?
We basically have access to a pool of funds for each kid that go towards their education, but that could go towards, buying them online memberships to like online courses that can go towards, music lessons, art lessons. You have to buy the curriculums, right? So like you have to buy their math and all their reading and math and all this sort of standard curriculum, science, things like that. So some of the money goes towards the curriculum. Some of it goes towards extracurricular activities. You could use it to pay for their little league or their after school activities. You have a finite amount of funds, so you have to kind of like budget wisely where you want the funds to go, but they can pretty much go towards any sort of enrichment.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, our kind of goal is to have an RV, like still keep our home base. We wouldn't sell our house or anything, but have like an RV, be out on the road for like 2 weeks out of every 2 months or something like that, or 2 weeks per quarter, and just be kind of going to different towns and driving and just being out on the road. And then, in the windows that we're back at home, that's when we'll knock out our batch recordings of podcasts and, do all this stuff that requires us to kind of be in a single location together. And then once all that stuff is kind of done and wrapped up, then you go do another round of road trips,
Nice. I like it. So, that's cool. Do it.
That's sort of our dreamer's room vision. And we've been sort of looking into RVs and all that kind of stuff lately because we're getting more and more excited about the idea.
Yeah. Well, it's all about looking forward to things, especially now then still kind of lockdown-ish. So I think that's healthy.
Yeah.
It's definitely, you got to change up this like consistent pattern, like he says, just to invert the thinking. And that's definitely inversion because that's whole different than you've been doing. Well, let's wrap this thing up.
Cool.
Let's do that. This has been a cool episode.
It's been a great 16 minutes.
This is crazy. Yeah. Damn it. And just think I gave you 2 full minutes. You 2 full minutes to flap your lips.
Yeah.
In the beginning of the episode.
And whenever we do therapy sessions, we're always like, should we take notes on what we should talk about? And I'm usually like, nah, we never have any problem talking.
It's true. Yeah. Should always have a note taker following us around.
Yeah, probably.
And then someone to distill those notes because we're not going to review them.
We need a note taker and a note reader backer. Isn't that called just listening to the podcast?
What was smart from that? Like, you tell me.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you feel like you can fill any of those roles, maybe we can source that from our podcast listeners. Actually, that'd be kind of cool. It's like, I don't know what was smart from any of this.
Yeah.
Like,
pull the smart stuff.
Let us know.
Yeah.
Maybe with a review, maybe with an email to info@evergreenprofits.com.
Yeah.
Any of that counts.
Or with money. Give us your money.
Sure.
We'll take it. Like Roland said when we ended the conversation, anything I can help you with? Roland's like, well, I always like money.
I said the check's in the mail. I think he said the chick's in the mail.
Oh.
He said, no, I want money. I'm like, no, checks.
Oh.
All right.
Anyway. All right. Well, that was a good Evergreen Profits insights for the month.
And subscriber only show.
Yes.
Go get the letter. If you're not on there, if you're a subscriber, that's the next iteration.
There may or may not be official notes to these episodes.
Right. Yeah. So we can't promise this, but every other episode that comes out on the main, Tuesday, Thursday is covered in the notes. So all those notes that we're always talking about are just packaged up into a nice 32 to 36 page note, physical note thing that's $15 a month, or the digital only is $59.
They've been upwards of 40 pages actually.
That's crazy. And then we have some extra inserts with even more stuff, and it's like, come on, it's a lot.
I actually made the font size smaller recently just so I could get the page count down so people aren't too overwhelmed.
We give you
the same amount of content,
bonus magnifying glass, hustle and flowchart branded. No, we don't.
It's very readable.
It's we don't include that, but it'd be kind of cool. So get them.
Yep.
egpletter.com. Is that the best place to go?
Probably.
Does that give the digital option as well?
I think if you go to egpletter.com, as of recording right now, it still is promoting the print version.
Man, we got to put that both. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just go there.
egpletter.com. Hopefully by the time this is out, it'll have multiple options.
It'll force Matt to go update that because I think that would be cool. But yeah, either way, email us Evergreen or at info@evergreenprofits.com if you need a hookup on that. Happy to help you out.